The MPC is quite capable of a lot. And one of the main things I want to focus on is talking about the Bluetooth compatibility. So everything that I'm going to talk about in this video will work on all MPCs. I will use the MPC X just for this video because I love the big screen. And some of the things that I'm going to show you will blow your mind, especially with Bluetooth. And if you like the information that you get from this video, you can help support us at 16levels.com. I have a link in the description box, as I have masterclasses for all the MPCs except for the MPC Key 61, at least in 3.0 that is. So if you wanted to know, that's what it is. However, I appreciate you ahead of time. As a reminder, you can use an Android or an Apple device. I just happen to have Apple devices all around me, like my iPhone and my iPad. This is one of its many uses. I'm going to show you the setup. Of course, you want to make sure that you'll be able to run audio as well. So you'll probably need one of these. I have one of the more expensive ones that has the HDMI. I believe this is called I don't know what it's called, but I'll have it linked in the description box, and of course an MPC. To set it up, all you'll have to do is go into your menu. So press the menu button on your respected MPC, then go into preferences. Then you will see a feature in your preferences called Bluetooth. Just simply turn it on, and then it will look for whatever devices that are around. So if you need to look for your device and you don't know what your device is, then you just need to go and search for it in here. If you cannot find the exact device on your MPC, that means that you need to turn on Bluetooth on your Android or Apple device. Now that you have paired both of them together, it should be discoverable on both devices. So let's just go ahead and do that right now. I'll select that, pair it, and we should be good to go. There's a slight chance that you'll get a message like this: failed to connect to whatever device it is. And all you have to do simply is just connect it on the device itself. Now that I selected my MPC on my iPad, I can begin to do whatever I want. So now we need to run audio from the iPad into the MPC so we're able to work with some of the apps. Now, I know people will say, well, doesn't it Bluetooth work audio and all this other stuff? Well, there's a problem with Bluetooth in general, and that's latency. So you already will have latency when you're running your iPad apps into the MPC like it would be on any other device. It's just audio latency. So you just use like a Y cable. I have it linked in the description box, and then plug it up to wherever plug that you need. You want to run it to of course, your in of your MPC so that you're able to record into it. Now that we have connected the Y cable to the back of the MPC, and make sure that it's in the input, so it should say like audio in or audio input, whatever, for whatever MPC that you have. I'm going to go a step above that and enhance the audio experience by adding a audio interface to my iPad. I'll have this linked in the description box. It doesn't necessarily have to be this audio interface right here, but I have it linked in the description box. It could be any audio interface as long as it's class compliant. After setting up your audio, you could go to a new project. I'm just going to use this project right here, and then I'll select new track, and then I will select MIDI. From here, then the biggest thing I would need to do is to set up like a MIDI port. So a MIDI output port, I believe, from none, you select your iPad or Android device. And then from here, you can send MIDI to that device. Now, if you pay attention to the bottom right of the screen, you can see that I'm pressing on the pads here, but there's no sound. Then you need to set up the audio. You can go to your sampler and set it up, or you could just go and turn on monitor on. So what I'll do is I'll go into the sampler, then I will choose to turn monitoring on or in, monitoring in. Then I will select the inputs 3 and 4. And as soon as I press on the iPad, you'll hear sound, and then you're good to go. Go into your main, and then I'll press on the pad, and you can see that I'm getting sound from the iPad. Depending on what type of app that you're using and its compatibility, you can go into settings and then set up all of other things. Like, let's see here, if it says Bluetooth MIDI, it says scan. You can scan for it and you can choose to allow or not to allow. Of course, you will want to allow. So allow it, scan it, and then it'll bring everything else up into the app. But after the fact, everything should be fine, and you can continue with your music production. All right, let's go. Let's record that in. And it's recorded in. And if you have to, you can make adjustments. I like the MPC X because you have the recording when you're recording in, sampling and stuff like that on the top. So I can make adjustments for the mix. Now that we have that recorded in, it's not necessarily inside of the MPC yet, because all it's doing is sending Bluetooth MIDI out to your Android or Apple device and sending the audio back into the MPC. So you need to capture that audio. So the thing that you want to do is go to a new track, select the audio track. From here, you want to make sure that the audio is being monitored in, then select the input. So it's input 3 and 4 for me. It might be different for you. So make sure that you make a mental note of that, and then just record it in. 4. And you should see it being displayed right here if you have done everything right. After everything is said and done, you will have it in your arrangement. And I do recommend turning down your iPad maybe, or unplugging it, or maybe even just turning down the input right here so that you don't have anything recorded. You can also turn the monitoring off so that you don't have to hear anything either. And then it'll be in there. And you can work with the audio too. Just double tap on the arrangement itself, and you can see the audio. You can also go menu, arrange, and you can see it in your arrangement right here. And you can hear the sound itself. I have it soloed. And if you have to do anything further to it, you can do that inside of here. You can do things like, I would recommend going into sample edit. In sample edit, if you have to, you can discard, you can trim, you can delete, you can silence, you can normalize. And then we'll choose normalize because that just seems like the subtle thing to do in this process here. We'll go back into main, and then you can see that it's normalized, and then you can mix it. And you see it's nice and loud. Go over here. You have your MIDI track. I would keep that MIDI track if you want to add more sound. And then I'll just turn the volume down over here. You can control it with your jog wheel or data wheel. So let's turn it down. Let's go over here to pen and volume, and then we'll bring in the arrangement for itself. And make the subtle changes. For extra credit, what are some dope apps that I recommend you getting for your iPad or your Android device if they're on Android? Layer is one of them. Layer is a really dope one. I think, it is a paid for app. I recommend it though. Also, there is Xeon. Xeon is a synthesizer too. Waystation yet again. FM player. That's made by Matthew, I believe. Matthew is a GOAT, by the way. It has a bit of a different view, that is. I think I already said Soundscaper. Quanta, that's a really dope one. It's Figure by Reason Studio. I believe that's a really dope one. That's the one Accurate Beats put me onto. There's SynthMaster 1, which is a VST plugin, but it's also an application plugin or whatever. Lo-Fi Dirt, which is more of a processor plugin. I would have to get into sends and returns so that you can benefit from Lo-Fi Dirt. Yes, you can do sends and returns from your iPad into the MPC and stuff like that. We'll get into that. I don't know if this is free anymore, but there's Model D. So we already have that plugin inside of the MPC, but this one's pretty cool. It was cool until we got the MIDI plugin. I ain't gonna even hold you. One of the biggest things that I do not use is the Bluetooth feature. Unfortunately, I just had a lot of stuff going on, and once I started selling my gear, I just started thinking of other ideas and things like that. And some of the apps that I have on my iPad, it's ridiculous. So with the MPC having its own plugins and stuff like that, there's third-party developers that have some dope stuff that, you know, could sprucing up your, oh my God, did I say sprucing up? Could help with your production or, you know, just basic ideas. Yeah.